Welcome back. Now to news from Europe. Voting begins in the United Kingdom to decide if veteran leftist leader Jeremy Corbyn will lead Britain's Labour Party. Party members have until September the 21st to decide the fate of Corbyn or elect members of Parliament Owen Smith as their own new leader. 46-year-old Smith triggered the election by declaring his candidacy last month, warning that Corbyn's leadership could lead to a split in the Labour Party. Iraq has executed 36 militants sentenced to death for the mass killings of hundreds of Shiite soldiers. 2 years ago, as many as 1,700 soldiers were killed after they fled from a camp north of Baghdad. The executions were done by hanging. They were carried out in a prison in the southern city of Nasiriyah. This is the highest number of militants executed by the Iraqi government in one day. The government had come under increasing pressure from local politicians to execute the militants. Staying now in West Asia, the Israeli military carried out a series of attacks in airstrikes on the Gaza Strip this on Sunday, targeting Hamas positions in response to a Palestinian rocket attack. It hit the border town earlier on in the day. The airstrikes took place in northern Gaza, injuring at least 2 Palestinians. Sources say the attacks hit at least 30 sites belonging to Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and other militant groups. Israel and Hamas fought a 50-day war in the summer of 2014. Since then, a ceasefire has largely been held, but militants in Gaza occasionally launch rockets towards Jerusalem. Now to news from Africa, where more than 20 people have died after a car bomb explosion in Somalia. The group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attacks. Suicide bombers detonated 2 car bombs at local government headquarters in Galkayo town. People there say they heard blasts followed by quick gunfire. Al-Shabaab has been accused of carrying a lot of deadly attacks in Somalia in recent months. Home to the world's 3rd largest area of tropical forest, Indonesia is now plagued by an annual haze crisis. The choking there has been caused by a lot of the fires set to some of the plantations there, and that is a cause for concern for some environmentalists. Let's find out why.
Indonesian authorities have intensified preventive action against fires with the onset of the smoke haze season. The haze tends to drift across the Malacca Strait and head towards neighboring Malaysia and Singapore.
Ya dari pantauan 4 pos kami memang belum terpantau adanya laporan dan asap. Kami mempunyai 4 pos pengamatan cuaca asap di Pelalawan, Indragiri Hulu, Dumai, dan Kota Pekanbaru sendiri. Rasanya belum terpantau adanya titik panas, namun dari trajektori pergerakan arah asap tanggal 16-17 kemarin asap hotspot kita sampai ke negara tetangga.
As the dry season begins, fires set alight by companies clearing land for plantations are a common sight in Indonesia. The government imposed record fines against a local plantation company last week in the hope of deterring companies and individuals from slash and burn clearing.
Di tanggal 17 Agustus ya, di mana kami melihat ada tren naik pada hari libur, orang melakukan pembakaran. Alhamdulillah setelah tanggal 17 kemarin kita semua bekerja keras di bawah komando daripada Bapak dan Satgas. Hari ini sudah jauh penurunan daripada jumlah hotspot yang ada di Provinsi Riau ini.
Indonesia has been criticized by green activists and by neighboring Southeast Asian nations for failing to stop the annual fires. Singapore has pushed Indonesia for information on companies suspected of causing cross-border pollution.
Indonesia saat ini kan memang sudah menyampaikan dan menunjukkan komitmennya untuk menangani masalah kebakaran hutan dan impact dari kebakaran hutan tersebut.
The annual crisis at times blankets large parts of the region in choking smog, closing airports and schools, and prompting warnings to residents to stay indoors. Bureau Report, Dion.
Now to Asia, where the Foreign Ministry of the Philippines on Monday said they are not leaving the United Nations. This a day after President Rodrigo Duterte threatened to quit the world body after it called for an end to the wave of killings there. Now this is all unleashed by his war on drugs.
Reaffirming its strong bond with the United Nations, Philippines assured that it's not leaving the world governing body after its president threatened to leave the organization on Sunday.
We are certainly not leaving the UN. As I've said, the statement of the president is a statement expressing profound disappointment and frustration, and it is not any statement that should indicate a threat to leave the United Nations.
Speaking to the media, Foreign Secretary Perfecto Yase reasserted that Manila remains committed to the UN despite its numerous frustrations with the international agency, who want to investigate recent extrajudicial killings in the country.
We believe in the principles and objectives for which the United Nations was founded. Despite its many inadequacies, it remains to be an effective means at which people can get together and talk and resolve their problems. So leaving the United Nations under these circumstances would not be a prudent move, although...
Yase said the UN experts have not followed protocols in gathering data, which led to Duterte's statements.
You could understand the frustrations at which the president has expressed himself on this issue. The fight against drugs is not only an urgent domestic issue, it is in fact a critical issue that many international organizations, including the United Nations, have vowed to eradicate.
Philippines' brash-talking president threatened to withdraw his country from the international body in his latest outburst against critics of his anti-drug campaign, which has left hundreds of suspects dead. Bureau Report, WION.
Well, it didn't turn out to be a good ending for Indian athletes who are staying at the Rio Games. Reports suggest she could be showing signs of the Zika virus. This after she just got back to India. The athlete is from Uttar Pradesh. She is kept under isolation now in the South Indian city of Bengaluru. She complained of fatigue and joint pain, and then when she got back, she had a fever as well as a rapidly changing blood pressure and body aches. The 30-year-old took part in the steeplechase competition at the Games. Her blood samples have now been sent to check if she has the deadly Zika virus. Well, staying with news about the Olympics, silver medalist PV Sindhu is now back in her hometown of Hyderabad, coming home to a grand welcome. The badminton champion has been praised for her incredible performance at the Games. Sindhu dedicated her medal to her parents as well as longtime coach Pulala Gopichand. She is the country's first woman to bag an Olympic silver at the Games. She is also one of the youngest athletes of her generation to win an Olympic medal in silver. She lost out to Spain's Carolina Marin, but still managed to win a lot of hearts. Her mentor said she's been working on this for several years and has shown a lot of promise and dedication. She is the 5th and youngest female athlete to win an Olympic medal, started playing at the age of 8. Well, the Games are over for now. They've officially come to an end after an extravagant closing ceremony at the Maracana Stadium, which marked the end of the 17-day sporting event. Lots of colorful performances and lots of excitement there with the festivities. There you go, seeing some of the highlights there. USA claimed the top position with 121 medals, then Great Britain and China in the next spot. India finished in 67th spot with 2 medals in its kitty. Rio's mayor then passed on the torch to Tokyo, who will then host the 2020 Games in the next 4 years. What a beautiful ceremony it was. Well, that is our bulletin for now. Thanks again for watching WION. You can track all of our stories on our digital, mobile, and social media platforms. Thanks for watching.